Hi everybody, it is Nick from Booster, and we're here at Google headquarters in King's Cross at a PMG event, and it's PMG and Google partnered, as you can see up here, and it is about creativity in the world in the time of AI. And Ian here has been on stage that we're on now, talking about specifically that. But first, I'm going to be asking what the key is to great creativity. So, Ian,
yes,
please could you introduce yourself?
Of course.
And then tell us what you believe the key is.
Okay, so I am Ian Flynn. I am the EMEA Head of Creative and ECD for PMG. Creativity, I mean, for me, I think it's often thought of as an output. I believe creativity is a process, and it's really done. Good creativity is done through a set of behaviours, and I think those behaviours are crucial into whether or not the process works, and then consequently the output is good enough.
Yep.
So behaviours include playfulness, they include braveness.
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah.
Braveness.
They include candour. They include inclusivity. And I think all of those things combined create the right environment to be able to create the best work. I think creativity is a social craft. I think it has to be a connection of ideas and different points of view and different experiences. I think there's some magic that happens when you get people together to form that. So yeah, and I think really it's focused on divergent thinking. It's thought about things. I think if you're doing creativity wrong, if you're saying it is, you should be saying what if. That's really essentially what it is. The convergence comes when you're making it, but I think when you're thinking about the possibilities, I think divergence is really, really key. And I think you often get in a lot of boardrooms where convergence is the focus, and that's really the wrong environment to make good creative work. I think creativity creative as an agency, as a product, is changing more than it ever has. I think there's set ways, and there's always been set ways in how you get to good outcomes, which have worked for many a year, many a decade. But in the time that I've been doing this, it's totally turned on its head. So for me, the anchor point in good creativity is those behaviours, is making sure that you're always doing that.
Love it. And interesting as well, in your talk that you gave on stage, which was fantastic, you were talking about your initial process that you have, because you talked about collaboration and candour and ideas coming through from everyone.
Yes.
You have a process, don't you, where everyone gets in a room and talks initially?
Absolutely. So it's kind of a brainchild off of Ed Catmull and the Pixar way of working. The process we call it is a brain trust. It's slightly different from the one that he kind of coins within his book, but it really is a opportunity to get people together to discuss things at length. There's some key rules to it in regards to there can't be authority. I think everyone is equal in regards to like how
I've heard about
how they kind of tackle the challenge. And I think we are PMG are born out of performance heritage, so we've always been very data driven, been very kind of results focused. And we admittedly got into some areas where it was all about results and efficiency and get your heads down, you got to get as much done in a short amount of time possible. So the brain trust really came from a need to remind ourselves of this idea of creativity and collective thought, and actually allowing ourselves the time and the space to group think in a way which is really effective for what we're trying to make. So, it's a really important part of our process. Every pitch that we're part of, we always tend to win out of a brain trust idea, rather than through one or two people. So.
And you used it as an example there was an example bit of creative that you did out off the back of that, that you presented and talked to everyone about. Would you like to just talk about that briefly?
Absolutely, yeah. So what I presented today was for a company called FXTM, a trusted kind of client and customer of ours. It was really interesting because we're obviously talking about creativity in the world of AI. it was our first real venture into AI production. We've done bits of it here and there, but like a proper shiny brand awareness production that went through the funnel in the UAE to try and make them famous. That was essentially the brief. And yeah, like what I shared today was the good, the bad, and the ugly in regards to like how we got there. It is rooted in the idea. The idea isn't going away, but actually how we executed was very different to how we would usually execute. Essentially allowing freedom for technology to express itself alongside us, I think was a key learning in this process, and that's what I tried to show today.
Fantastic, and I'll put a link in the description so people can take a look at it, because it is fantastic. And I think what you said at the end of it was fascinating as well, is that if you'd done a purely real shoot, you wouldn't have actually got the result that you had, that you wouldn't have been as happy with it, and it was a blended process, wasn't it? Right?
Absolutely, and I think that's always been our anchor point as a creative team, and I think for any creative looking at this that's wrestling with the relationship of AI, I think the anchor point has to be the same, if not better, doing it with these tools. And I think what I love and what I say to the team is actually it should give you more possibility and more like ways of creating things in ways that couldn't have been possible before. Like for this campaign, and I spoke to the client just a minute ago, he said to me that it was 80% cheaper doing it this way, and I think the output was however many times better than it would have been if we did it without that. So, so like the possibilities are way bigger than they would have been. We never would have been able to do this if that technology wasn't there. So that's key.
And I think that's a really important part on that. This is going on from a quickish. It's a quickish conversation rather than a quick conversation. But I love it. It's fantastic. Because I think it's so topical. Is that the ad wouldn't have been done previously, would it? Right. This has enabled it to happen. It's not like it's replacing something else that would have had a bigger budget against it.
It would have died at concept stage, which again happens a lot of times, right? And I think the fact that it enabled us to do it and at a better standard than perhaps we would have done 80% more expensive, do you know what I mean? Then, you know, that in itself is an enabler of creativity. So so I think that's really key. One thing as well, and it sounds a little bit random, but the one thing that comes to mind is I remember seeing something on LinkedIn actually about different uses of AI, and I saw a skydiving baby, random, but when I saw that, I thought, well, you're never going to be able to do that as an actual production, like that. The bureaucracy involved in that. You know,
not a good idea. No.
Then you're thinking about CGI and post-production, which would have been very costly, would take a lot of time. Something like AI eventually will get to a point where we can do that pretty effortlessly. So then the imagination can go into places that it couldn't have done before, and you're not necessarily getting squashed by what is real and what isn't, essentially. So really exciting.
It is very exciting. And thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
That's a great moment to leave it on. Very exciting times.
Absolutely.
And great to be here. And I thought the talk was fantastic.
Thank you, Nick.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for the quick conversation. Cheers.
Cheers.